He's definitely a fit. I mean, I think when you look at some of the things that he does well, and I wouldn't really necessarily look at this past year totally. I think when you look at it overall, he's going to give you some consistency at the quarterback position. He's going to be able to come in and be a leader for you at that position. And so I think overall, he's a guy that Dennis Allen actually drafted, so he's very familiar with him in that standpoint. So I think that's probably some of the biggest things that you have with him overall. I mean, you can look at it and try to dissect his game, and really, I think to a point that's probably fair and unfair, because he won't be in the same type of system. You will put him in a system that you think he can succeed in, so for the Saints offensively, they'll change a little bit and, try to play to his strengths. I think the biggest things when you look at him is you just want some consistency out of him as far as from that quarterback position. I think that's what the Saints lacked overall when you look at the year completely last year.
So what would that look like? Deuce would change how?
Well, I think when you talk about changes, what are his strengths? What are the things that he likes to do? Does he like to throw outside the numbers? Does he like to throw the deep ball? Does he like to have movement in the pocket? I know some of the times that he has struggled, and I'll talk about the negatives first, is with pressure up the middle. Well, the Saints, traditionally they have been a team that were heavier inside, and, you had elite tackles, and you still have that in Ryan, and you hope to have that in that left tackle position going forward. But you have to solidify the inside for him, and that goes back to even when Drew was at the quarterback position. I think that he has struggled when he has gotten pressure inside, and so for him, be able to distribute the football, get it to your playmakers on the outside, but also let him be able to get some rhythm going offensively. And so those are things that he can do well. I think that he can be a leader, not only of a team, but of an offense, and that's what this team needs the most from its quarterback position.
So what happens now? What's it like for a player to come in? He sits down with Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael explains the offense to him or shows him what they're doing. I mean, obviously, there's only so many things, and Derek's been in the league, 9 years? So just talk a little bit about that whole process, if you would, and how they construct. If Derek Carr signs, every indication is that he is. How do you go about constructing an offense between now and the first game of the season?
Well, I think the biggest thing is they did a lot of that when he came and met with them for the couple of days that he was here in New Orleans. I think, to see him again up in Indy, I don't want to call it that they got on the whiteboard and went through plays and anything of that nature again. I doubt it. But he would basically get the playbook. Hey, look, these are our base plays, but also, Derek, what plays do you like? And that probably already has happened. That has already happened when that first meeting. And so from that standpoint, they will kind of construct offense based off of those concepts. Now, they won't completely change what they do from a concept situation, but they will add plays or concepts that he likes. And so for Derek, the other part of it now is getting familiar with the verbiage. This is how they call plays. This is the terminology that they use. He may have come, I know the Raiders system was technically New England, but, he may have come from a numbered system. And so instead of numbers, the Saints use a lot of words. They do use numbers for certain things, but they use a lot of words. So it's him getting familiar with those words and different numbering system, how they call plays, et cetera.
What receivers is this good news for? What receivers bad news for?
I don't think it's bad for any, receivers. Anytime that you kind of know who the quarterback is going to be, I think, now the next step for them is reaching out to each other and say, hey, look, when are you available? Maybe let's get to know each other a little bit better. And, not necessarily saying the workouts start now, but let's get to know each other a little bit better and see if it's something that, maybe we can work together, and maybe some things that you like that you want me to kind of change up. And I just want to get to know you personally, and that'll start happening. But I don't think it's bad for any of them at this point yet. I think the question mark becomes now, what happens with Michael Thomas? It's not a foregone conclusion that he will be released totally, but, maybe this entices both parties to say, hey, look, let's see if we can make this work maybe one more time.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, we know that the restructure earlier this year freed up some capital for them to be able to go out and operate and maybe do like they're presenting now currently. And here's the other thing with Derek, currently the Saints would be over the salary cap once the new league year starts. Well, the new league year doesn't start until next week. You know, the Saints still have funds available for this year to be able to sign Derek Carr. And so the interesting piece will be how that contract is structured. And so I think that's the biggest thing for both parties, how that contract is structured, what kind of guaranteed money are the Saints giving, and how much is he getting, but how that contract is structured, because they can sign him today and not have any issues. They have to be under the cap by next week. It's not, you know, they still have funding available to sign players for this calendar year. The new calendar year for the Saints and everybody else, it starts next week. That's where they have to be cap compliant.
You think Taysom Hill was part of the conversation between the Saints and Derek Carr, where, you know, maybe something was said like, look, I'm not going to play first and second down, and then we're going to try this? Or how do you think that was all handled? And what is Taysom's role going to be?
He's done it before. He did that a couple years ago when John Gruden was a coach, when they opened up the new stadium, because they had Marcus Mariota. So he's done it before. Maybe not as much as, you know, you would have a situation when Taysom would come in now for the Saints, but he's done that before. So it wouldn't be anything new to him to have another quarterback to come in and kind of be the running quarterback.
Overall, how many more wins does this give us, you think? And look, nobody knows, right? You win a Super Bowl next year, you go 0-17. Who knows?
Here's the biggest thing.
But
I want a healthy Saints team, and you know that you won't have every guy available for the complete season, but you know, not to get hit by major injuries, and then you just want consistency at the quarterback position. If you can have that, you know, your needle right now from just talent-based alone, you got to be anywhere between 7 to maybe 11, just depending on what happens, you know, depending on what happened with your health and the health across the board. I mean, but that's where you are. The question is, between that 7 to 12 or 7 to 11, how many of those games can you close? How many of those games can you close and actually win and not go, you know, of those 4 or 5 games, not go 0 for 4, not go 0 for 5? You know, can you be 3-2 in those games? Can you be 4-1 in those games? I mean, that's kind of where you sit right now.
Is Derek Carr a closer?
Is he a closer?
Yeah.
Yes, the question becomes: does he elevate the players around him? Mm-hmm. That's what you want to see. Can he elevate the players around him? Can he make those other guys better? That's the question.
There was one other question I had for you, and I forgot what the hell it was. Give me a second here, Deuce. It'll come up because I had 1,000 of them running in my mind. Anything I'm missing that you wanted to mention?
He makes you a better football team. He makes you a better football team today. The question is, how many does that equate into wins? And you really don't know that at this point.
I know
some other pieces. There's still some other pieces that they have to put to this puzzle. I mean, this definitely helps the puzzle, but this puzzle is definitely not complete as far as looking into this upcoming season. There's still some pieces that they need to add.
I remember what it was. What about Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston? What happens to them?
Well, Andy's not under contract after the season. I mean, so Andy would, you know, they would have to work out something with him. Jameis is, but I think, you know, this probably closes the book on Jameis Winston here in New Orleans, just because, you know, he wanted to be the starting quarterback, not in a situation where he comes in and competes. And I think that, you know, pretty much closes the book with Jameis in New Orleans.
Any final thoughts, Deuce?
I think it's an intriguing piece. I think it's one that, you know, I know that they're excited to get done. Probably should have been done before now, but, you know, it's obviously not too late. Doesn't hurt you in that sense. And, you know, you still get an opportunity to be able to go out and recruit some other free agents because, like I said, they definitely need some more guys to be able to step in and help out.
What do you think changed his mind? Derek Carr, what was the factor if you had to pick one guess?
I don't think it changed his mind, but money.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, money
always helps. It always does help.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I don't think it changed his mind. I think he was always intrigued just because of the level of talent and comfort that he would have in that system, you know. But I think money definitely, you can say what you want to say, but, yeah, that definitely helps.
The other thing I would change, Deuce, is lots and lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, and so that definitely helps.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.